Hey, my question to you is how do you feel about social media? In today's online world, you know that social media offers amazing opportunities. If you're a coach, if you're a course creator, if you are a consultant, if you're an entrepreneur, but social media also has the ability to waste your time. It can actually damage your reputation and it can make you look desperate if you're not using it wrong. One of the biggest questions I have from people is, oh my God, social media is driving me nuts. How do I maximize it? Well, in today's live, I'm going to share 5 types of social media users that don't get results and what you should be doing instead. By recognizing these 5 types and implementing these simple tactics, you can actually start seeing results from your social media efforts. Hey, I'm Joyce Lehman, and I work with coaches and consultants to help them attract and connect with their ideal clients online using simple social systems that generate leads and helps them to make a bigger impact without getting overwhelmed in the process. So, as I'm going through today's training, I'm going to be moving quickly if you've been on any trainings at all. So, if you want the show notes, then drop the word social in the comments and I will make sure and send them your way. Okay, now to dive into the 5 types, the first one are ghosts. These are people, they set up a social media profile a long time ago and they have never been back to do anything with it. When I was speaking about networking and working with sales teams, business developers, I was amazed who weren't paying attention to what their online presence looked like. Now, I will not, I'm not going to name the credit union specifically, but there was actually a VP of business development at a very large credit union in Kansas City that when I went in to look at his LinkedIn profile, he hadn't bothered to update his place of employment, which showed right at the top of his profile in 4 years since he had changed companies. Online, this first impression makes a huge impression. And in fact, individuals base their opinion of your credibility in a split second. So, ghosts, they're wondering why they don't get any results. Well, first off, they're not doing anything on social media. Secondly, their profile looks like they haven't been on it in ages. I can't tell you how many people go to opt into my private Facebook group, the Connectors Collective. And the first thing I do is I go look at their Facebook page and their personal profile. I want to see these people that want to come into the group. And it's no different if somebody's searching for you online, or maybe they meet you at an in-person networking event and they go to this online search. If somebody has an old profile, if they have very cryptic information, there's a lot of spam profiles out there, and you know that. The very first thing that I'm going to do is look at their online presence. And if it doesn't fit the type of folks that we want in the Connectors Collective, then I'm just going to delete the request. They are not getting in. So, with that as ghosts, then you want to make sure that your profile is up to date. And I have my favorite bio hack, which I'm happy to share with you. If you comment bio hack, then I will make sure and get that sent your way. But this is one thing that you can use on any social media profile. You have to use it a little bit differently, but it helps you to have this amazing online presence, especially if you have a profile like Insta that is super short and you've only got so many characters to use it. So, don't be a ghost. Make sure that you've got your profile up to date, that if you're out on social, and part of that is doing a quick review. Like I used to be on Twitter. In fact, I was on Twitter when it started. I had over 4,000 followers. I used to use it like crazy. Well, then I realized a couple of years ago, it's like, I haven't been out there forever. So I got rid of my account. So if you have a social profile you're not using, get rid of it. It's better to not have it than to have somebody that show up first in a search result, and that's that first impression that somebody sees. So make sure that you do that. Okay. Then the second type of social media user that does not get results is a broadcaster. You've probably seen them. They are posting, it's all about me. It's everything concerns them. Everything is about their life. It's their story. Now, you might say, well, what about somebody's personal Facebook profile? Isn't that supposed to be about them? Yes, and it depends on how you're using it. Now, say, for example, your Facebook, your personal page, you don't want to do anything with business on it because maybe you've got connections to kids or grandkids and you're very concerned about doing that. I totally understand. My only suggestion for you, and I've had clients in the past do this, it's not about promoting your business out there all the time. It is about sharing more into your world. It's about creating an authentic connection. But on occasion, if you have a personal Facebook page, then what you can do is put something that hints at the business that you do. In fact, a client, and this has been multiple years ago when I was working more in the B2B corporate space, I had a client who worked with insurance, and on her personal page that was only open to friends, she had it very locked down because of her grandkiddos, but she made the comment that somebody had reached out to her and they were frustrated that they hadn't heard from their insurance advisor in years. And she said, by the way, I wrote this blog post, and here are the 3 things you need to do as a small business owner to make sure you're covered. I'm happy to send it your way. It was this very nonchalant thing. She got two new clients because of that very simple post. Because first off, people went, I didn't know that you did that. But otherwise, if you look at her personal profile, it's about her kids. It's about what she does on the weekend. She very, very rarely posts about insurance. So there is a way that you can even use a personal profile, but this is where you have to decide too. Because say, for example, you've got a business Instagram account and all you're doing is you're promoting saying, I'm the greatest thing in the world. My business is the best thing. My system is the best thing. My framework, I call it the I test. If everything that you post has it's about I, me. Well, when I was facilitating networking trainings, we had an exercise and it was I, me, my, we. If you look at your content and it's all about I, me, my, we, then you're not focusing on your clients and the messaging that they hear. One of the things I learned very early on as a speaker, the more you words that you use, then it's easier for you to connect with your audience because they feel like you're having a conversation with them versus talking to them. It's no different when you send out emails. Think about your subject line, the content that you have when you're posting. Say, for example, you post an Instagram reel and then you've got the language or the text that you put in after that. Consider using you words. That way you get out of this broadcast mode where it's all about you and you start focusing on your client and you're using words that your target audience will engage with them. As I said, you can use it on social, email. Even if you're speaking, it's great. But when it comes to broadcasting, make sure that your content passes the eye test. All right. So, and that's why I said talk less about them. It's the what's in it for them. Even if you've got offers or if you've got a lead magnet, do that test on your lead magnet copy as well. Go back and look through email series. These are all things that you make sure that you're wanting to focus on you instead of I. Okay. The other thing is lurkers, number 3. So lurkers are the type of folks that are on social media and all they're doing is they are out social scrolling all day long. And they're going in and they're absorbing content. They're downloading everything in the world, but they never comment on anything. They never like anything. So a couple of problems with that is, first off, if you're taking in all this content and you're never actually implementing it, I run into that a lot with clients that they're frustrated. They're like, I'm downloading all the things. It's like, are you implementing it? So lurkers tend to waste a lot of time. They complain that they're frustrated with social, but then that's where you have to go, how are you using it? Are you actually blocking time to go out on social and make it productive? Or are you just lurking in the background and all you're doing is scrolling? So one of the big things is if you're wondering why you're not getting an ROI, you need to be commenting first. People go, why aren't people engaging on my content? This is a big one. If you get nothing out of this live today, you need to be commenting first. So that's what actually helps the algorithm to understand who are the people in your target audience. So if you're going out to profiles of somebody who might be a potential client or they're a referral partner, or maybe it's a favorite product or platform that you love, and so you're in a focused group. If you're out commenting on that content. You're interacting in the group, you're liking, maybe you're sharing, depending on the profile. Like I see folks, and I do it on LinkedIn, where you mention somebody and you're sharing their content. That's how you get out of being a lurker and you become an influencer. And it's also how you can catch the eye of your target audience and your potential clients, because when you're willing to step up and come out of the background, then that's when you start to get noticed, which goes back to got to have your profile set up in step one, and then making sure that the content you're posting isn't just focusing on you. Okay. Now, number 4, I think these are my absolute worst favorite out of all of these. These are the sales pitchers. These are the people, you've probably experienced this, and I don't care what platform that you're on, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, somebody reaches out and they immediately pitch you a product or service, and they haven't even made the connection yet. I get it a lot of times on LinkedIn where somebody's reaching out and they're sending me a request to connect, and in that is a sales pitch immediately. It's like, why would I want to connect with you if you're immediately pitching me? And 8 times out of 10, they've done no research on my profile. They don't know. I mean, I can't tell you how many people said, hey, I can help you write a book. It's like, that's already been done. Or I want to market your book, or, they're trying to sell me a coaching program to help me create an offer, which means they haven't done any research. So make sure that when you're using social, you're using it to create relationships. So this goes back to, say, for example, your business is all located, it's like geographically located, it's local to your city or local to your region, it's within a short driving distance. And say that you are generating relationships by going to in-person networking events. So when you do that, you don't immediately pitch your product or service when you're talking to somebody at a networking event. You certainly don't want to be doing that online. So that's why if you're going to an event, look to see who's out there, look to see who a great connection might be, and then reach out and simply spark a conversation by asking them to connect, but giving them a reason to connect. Because a couple of things, why would you pitch somebody your service if you don't know that they fit your content or your client pillars, this criteria that you have for figuring out if somebody's a fit for you or not? Maybe you're not going to like their personality. Maybe they're not going to mesh well within that coaching group that you've got, or maybe they're just a pain in the ass. We've all had clients like that. So it's a matter of, you want to get to know somebody to make sure that you're like-minded in your values, that they would be a good fit for you. And maybe they're not a client, maybe they're a great strategic referral partner. But if you send out a message to immediately pitch somebody, then you are blowing all opportunities. And I will tell you, I met my 4 best friends at networking events. So maybe it's going to become a friend connection. You never know. But that's why you don't want to immediately pitch somebody. You want to give that time where you're actually developing the relationship and developing the conversation. So in person, if it starts in person, online, it doesn't matter, but don't immediately pitch somebody. And then number 5, these are the social butterflies. These are the people that aren't getting the results. The reason they aren't is because they aren't doing all the work. They have a blast online. They love posting content and they love having the conversations. But these are the folks, they don't actually want to get the conversation offline. If you're in business for yourself, that means you've got to have sales. You've got to have revenue coming in. So you can chat with people all day long in the DM, but as I go back to, you don't want to pitch somebody immediately. You want to start a conversation, but you've got to push that comfort zone sometimes and step out of your comfort zone, where you're either going to make an offer in a message or in a voice memo. If you're using social, you can do that on any of the platforms and simply say, hey, let's have a conversation. Or I have an idea. I saw something on your website or on your social profile that I think, might be of help to you. It's not about immediately pitching them, but it's about being open to the idea that you need to have those conversations offline. And if you meet somebody at a networking event, I guarantee the biggest failure that I see, and it's not just me, Stats show, and these are seasoned, these are salespeople, they're business developers who've been doing this a while, but stats show the number one mistake everybody make, they don't follow up. And that's what you've got to do. So social butterflies love to have a conversation online, but that means you need to go, okay, what's the next step? Is this person a friend? Is this person going to be a resource partner? Is this person going to be a referral partner, a strategic referral partner, or are they a potential client? But you're not going to know until you further that conversation. So as we're going through this, I am curious if you fit any of the five. And I want to do a recap to find out if you are one of the five people that's using social media in the wrong way and you're frustrated about the results that you're going to get, or what you have been getting, I should say, and then what you can be doing instead. So that first one, these are the ghosts. So if you set up a social media profile a long time ago and you've not been back, that means your profile photo is outdated, your bio is outdated, your links are outdated. This leaves a bad first impression, and stats show that individuals coming to either your website or a social media profile make a split-second decision on your credibility, on your company's credibility when they see that. So that's why don't be a ghost. Go through and do the work to get your profile updated. You want to make sure that, as I said, the links all go to the right places. Don't be like the business development manager, VP of business development for a major credit union, and have a LinkedIn profile that's been outdated for 4 years, because he didn't bother to go back and review his profile. Or like I did years ago on Twitter, I was actually using it. I had a great following, and then I just stopped using it. But even me, the woman who coaches clients and talks about branding, it's one of those things where I had Paper LI feeding it automatically, and I used Twitter for research, but I wasn't posting actively. So I finally said, that's it, I'm shutting it down. Even though I had the URL that I wanted, I still shut it down because it wasn't helping my brand, because it looked like I was a ghost on Twitter. So if you're brand new, you're starting out coaching, starting out consulting, new entrepreneur, and you're like, I don't know where I need to be on social, that's where you got to do your research with your target audience to figure out where they're spending time and figure out the platforms. You're not going to be able to get on 6 all at once and be effective with that. So start with 1, go in, get your profile updated, consistently post content so you don't look like a ghost, and then go from there. All right. So that's number 1. All right. Number 2 are broadcasters. These are individuals, they're out posting all the time online, and it's typically about them. And the biggest question I have is, well, what happens if my profile is a personal profile and I have a separate business profile? That's great. But if you have a business profile, one of the biggest hangups that I see, it's with realtors on their personal Facebook pages, is all they're doing is posting housing information on their personal page. And they're not sharing valuable tips, which they very easily could be. And they're not talking about anything else. It's like, I don't want to see your latest MLS listing. If you're using Facebook for business, then make sure that the content is balanced out, and don't be a broadcaster that all you're doing is talking about your business. With that, also make sure your content passes the eye test. It's not eyeball test. It's eye test. So look to see if your content starts with I, me, or my, and this could be your social media posts. It could be the emails that you send out to your list. It could be reels that you're talking about. Consider starting with the words you, or asking a question. When you use the words you or your, then that is a great way to draw people in. So look at your content and make sure that it's passing that test. All right. Number 3, lurkers. These are folks, they are out scrolling all day long on social. They tend to get very frustrated because they say, I'm spending all the time, but I'm not getting results. Well, if you're lurking behind the scenes, you're not actually engaging in other people's content. And by engage, I don't mean just liking the post. It means having a conversation. You might be consuming a ton of content. My question is, are you implementing it? But if you're lurking behind the scenes and you're not actually joining the conversation, then it's hard for you to build that visibility for yourself and your business. Now, a lot of times I run into folks that are extremely introverted, or they are terrified of social media, or they just hate being on social media at all. I'm not saying start, on multiple platforms and dive in every day. Go online and set a goal and say, I'm going to spend 10 minutes and I'm going to go comment on 3 people's posts. And it could be a friend's post on Facebook and then go into LinkedIn. So say you've got Facebook and LinkedIn that you're using, or you're over on Instagram. Go in and make a commitment that you're going to spend 5 to 10 minutes and you're going to comment on other people's content and start the conversation that way. Because what's going to happen, number one, the algorithm is going to see who you're commenting on. If these folks if they meet your ideal client, that target, then guess what? They're going to start showing you more people who look like them. But you're actually giving the algorithm direction on who it is you want to be talking to, the type of content that is important to you. So if you don't like what's coming through, then that means you need to get out and tell the algorithm what it is that you want to see. So with that, don't be a lurker, but go out, comment, start the conversation. That's a big piece. But then you need to back up to number one and make sure that your profile looks like you're somebody worth connecting to. Because if you jump into the conversation, but you haven't done the work on your social media bio, on that new profile picture, then guess what? It's going to stop the conversation right there. So if you're going to lurk, get out of your comfort zone and do it. Make sure your bio is up to date and make sure that your content is speaking actually to all the stages of awareness, not just attempting to sell what you have and not just inspirational quotes, but you're speaking to somebody who's in any stage of awareness in the process, whether they just stumble across your profile, they know they have a specific problem, and they're looking for somebody to help them solve it. So make sure your content covers all that. So, all right. Then number 4, I think these are my least favorite. It's the sales pitchers. The people that reach out to connect with you, they don't even bother to send you a connection request, and they're pitching you, whether it be direct message. Sometimes they might even find your website. They send you an email and they know nothing about what you do or what you really need at this point in time. To me, that is the fastest way to lose a connection, is to immediately pitch somebody without getting to know them. Am I about having conversations in direct messages or voice memos or even sending an email or leaving a phone call? Yes, absolutely. But if you immediately try to pitch without just having a conversation to start, then if you do that to me, I am going to delete you. I might even block you. I will tell you, there was one time that a guy on LinkedIn reached out to me, pitched me an offer, and I said, thanks, but not interested. He pitched me again. The second time I wasn't as polite, and he turned around and went to my YouTube channel, which at the time, I think I had probably 30 followers, and I wasn't really using YouTube like I am now. And he left a really nasty comment. Because of that, a friend of mine and a fellow business associate of mine, he actually sent a message to the Story Brand company to let them know that one of their brand reps was a complete jerk. So don't be the sales pitch person. And if you don't like the results, and if people start deleting or replying in a not so good way, then that might mean that you're pitching a little bit too much. And then finally, number 5, social butterflies. Social butterflies, they love social media. It's their place to be, and they're out posting content. They're having a great time, and they're engaging in conversations. The dilemma is they're never taking that conversation to the next step. They're never saying, hey, this person, what they've been posting, they might be an ideal client, but they're never willing to reach out to go, I saw something on your social profile, or I saw something on your website. I have an idea, or, I've got this workshop coming up. And from what you've been saying, it sounds like you're a good fit. Would you be interested in seeing more details? Or even, hey, let's jump on a call and just get to know each other. Let's find out who our target market is and what resources we need so we can see if there's a networking opportunity. Social butterflies, all they want to do is be social, but they never want to take those relationships to the next step and get them offline. So make sure that you are not a ghost, that you're not a broadcaster, that you are not a lurker, that you are not a sales pitcher, and that you're not a social butterfly. Social media can be one of your best tools to build your brand, to increase your authority, to maximize your visibility. You can use it for lead generation. In my case, as I told you, I met my 4 best friends, via networking, going out and just sparking those conversations. You can use social to create strategic referral relationships. There's so many things that you can do, but you've got to use it in the right way. So if you're saying social media doesn't work, then that's when you need to consider, are you using social media the right way? And are you spending time on the right social media channels for your business? That is a big thing to ask yourself. So with that, I have my favorite brand hack. This takes maybe 10 minutes to set up, and I am happy to share the details with you. So if you want that, and I did not develop a caption to put out there, but if you want my favorite bio hack for your social media bios, I'm happy to send you. There's like a 5-minute video walkthrough to show you how to do it, and you can set it up virtually on any social platform as well as your website. Easy to set up, and you'll love what it can do for your business. So with that, I hope that you've gained some insight. I appreciate your time, and I will see you for the next